This is Ice Cream Gecko, and in today's video we're going to take a look at the Gelatelli Premium Honig Walnut ice cream. This is an ice cream from Lidl. This was purchased for €1.99 and I think that's a good price for a portion size that will serve two. We've got, let me zoom in for that closer look, we've got ice cream with 10% of honey sauce and 7% of caramelized walnut pieces. Pause if you want to read the ingredients list, 430 grams in 50 milliliters, and pause if you want to read the nutrition table right here. Now let's zoom out a little bit again and take off the very top. We've got a plastic foil with a bit of perforation on the very top, maybe you can see that when I hold it at an angle to the light. Let's take that off and take a look at it. It looks alright, nothing special to it. Regular injected ice cream in an ice cream tub. So far so good. So let's put this back on and get the cutting board ready. Turn this around and slice this into halves. How are we going to do that? I think I'm going to do it like this. Slicing is not too difficult, less difficult than I would have thought, as this is still quite cold. It's quite soft overall, at least it feels like that. Let's take off the top again right here, and so far so good. We've got evenly distributed walnut pieces. You can even see already the caramelization on the outside, that little shell around those little pieces. But I'm going to put the right half right here back into the freezer and I'll be back with you in just a second. Alright, I'm back at the desk, slightly out of breath, but that's what this sort of nutrition does to you. A gecko cannot live solely off of ice cream, I guess. So let's take, zoom in on that a little bit. Let's take a closer look at this. Consistency wise, this is actually quite creamy. I expected a few more ice crystals maybe, but yeah. You can't hear those ice crystals either when I run the spoon through it. And creamy enough so far at least. First spoonful going in. Yes, I can definitely taste that honey flavour. I thought that would be, with that honey sauce, there would be some sort of swirls in here. Doesn't seem to be like that at all. Let me... Yeah, a little bit right here, you can see that. That's a honey sauce swirl. But overall, the sauce seems to be mixed into the ice cream base as well, which is interesting. Usually you've got like that typical vanilla flavor base ice cream and something else that adds some, you know, some diversity to the regular lineup, complementing it in a saucy swirl. This one right here, yeah, the base ice cream tastes of honey as well. Nice and sweet, nice and creamy. So far I did not taste any aftertaste. Let's take a spoonful with a few of those caramelized walnut pieces. I think I had a piece right there already, nice and crunchy. Let's go for a proper one. I did a bit more digging, so let's take a look at one of those, or a few of those walnut pieces right here. They're much smaller than I expected. Usually when you've got walnuts, you know, the nut itself or the, well, the inner, I don't know what the correct term of that walnut inner thing is that you actually eat. It's usually not the one that you think about, but those pieces right here are smaller than I expected, because the actual part of the walnut that you eat is quite large. I expected almost like thirds or quarters of them, but these ones right here are just little brain-like looking pieces. I think it is better to do that with machines and stuff, when you actually have to, you know, portion these masses into ice cream pints like these. When you've got big like walnut chunks in there, that could be a bit difficult maybe. But yeah, nice and small. Crunchy enough actually. I expected maybe a bit of, you know, sogginess to them, but the caramelization keeps that particular structure of those walnut pieces well intact, and yeah, consistency wise those things are definitely fine. Alright, the consumption process is complete and I'm ready to give my little points overview right here. The first impression was good. I've got nothing to complain about it. Packaging looks nice, I guess. Not too much plastic on there. And overall, when we opened up the very top, it looked alright. When we sliced it through, it looked alright. Nothing was off-putting in any way. So yeah, no complaints in that regard. Color-wise, same story here. Nothing to complain about. Regular, like light ice cream. The walnuts themselves looked alright. And just the color you expect from walnuts, at least. They are very much like the walnuts that I have had before, with that slightly golden caramelization on the outside of them. Yeah, they look quite alright. If you like walnuts, I think you will like those. Not too bitter either. Maybe that's just because it's like covered in ice cream, literally. But that's the one thing that I sometimes do not like and sometimes really like about walnuts. That certain kind of bitterness sometimes. It's a bit, you know, sometimes good, sometimes a bit off-putting to me. Consistency and texture-wise, I think it was fine. I think it was absolutely fine. The ice cream itself was nice and creamy. The walnuts themselves were nice and yeah, like not really crunchy or anything. Well, I think I could deduct half a point because when you think of that caramelization, you usually think of something really crunchy, that crack maybe. So when it comes to the crunchiness of the walnuts, they were like regular walnuts and they tasted a bit sweeter, even when the all of that ice cream was you know, already melted in your mouth, at least in my mouth, and it was just the walnuts themselves. Yeah, a bit sweeter than usual, but texture-wise, not all too different. So I'll give 1.5 points in the consistency and texture department. Taste-wise, I've actually got nothing really to complain. Nothing that really comes to mind, I have to say. The ice cream tasted like ice cream with honey in it. There was the one or two like honey swirls in there, not too many of them at all. I expected a few more of them, but they didn't say that they put like honey swirls in there. They just said, what do they say? Honey walnut with honey sauce and caramelized walnuts. So the honey sauce doesn't need to be seen, it's just in there, and I think that was fine. Maybe they just write that on there so they don't have to use like pure honey for those 10% or what they were in honey sauce content. Maybe it is because of that, I'm not entirely sure. But taste-wise, even though this is like not the go-to flavor that I would choose if I was buying ice cream for myself, I think this was absolutely fine. It didn't really blow me away, but I don't feel any negative aftertaste to it, and overall it seemed fitting, so I'll give 4.5 points out of 5 available points. Theme realization wise, now when you look at other ice creams, everybody puts swirls into everything, and when it comes to the theme realization that I usually like to compare between ice creams, the swirl thing is the only thing that I can, you know, kind of see what goes against the grain with this particular product. But since they haven't said anything about swirls, they just said honey sauce, I can't deduct any points in that regard either. So we come to a total of 9 points out of 10 available points. And I think that's it for the moment. Thank you very much for watching. If you've got a question or a video suggestion, leave it in the comment section down below. And if you want to see more videos just like this one, please subscribe. Thanks again very much for watching, and I hope I'm going to see you soon. Until then, bye bye.